Lately, we've seen a lot of major companies rolling out requirements for employees to start coming into the office, which a lot of employees aren't too thrilled about. A major point of contention: what we have to wear. Many Americans who've been working from home have traded in pencil skirts and blazers for the casual comforts of home. Maybe a nice shirt for Zoom, but casual shorts. I, for one, am in the office and have been in the office wearing pants. Thank you very much. But the truth is, this isn't actually a new development thanks to the pandemic. US revenue for men's suits declined from $2.2 billion in 2013 to $1.9 billion in 2018. And to look even further back, an estimate in 1948 from a clothing manufacturers association put that revenue at $12.5 billion given inflation. The pandemic may have accelerated the trend, but the decline in formal wear has been going on for decades now. Let's take a look at how this happened.
She's looking for a job, Pat is, and she's dressed for it too. Tastefully, not expensively.
In the mid-20th century, formal wear was not just an office staple. For both men and women, suits and hats were the standard for everyday activities, from shopping to groceries to going to the movies to watching sports games. But major fashion trends in the 60s and 70s opened the door for more variety within formal wear, especially as new styles were being seen on television. Colorful power suits and trousers were in, and outfits that could be worn both to the office and after work drinks were seen as more practical and fashionable. It was what Esquire magazine called the rise of loose collar culture. Soon the rise of casual wear would become unstoppable thanks to the khaki pants and button-down collared shirts in Silicon Valley. The 80s and 90s saw the invention and rise of business casual, what this 1995 article from the Chicago Tribune declared was a confusing new world. Silicon Valley already embraced a culture of rule breaking and creativity and risk over conformity. The rise of athleisure clothes during the past couple of decades, like yoga pants and workout sneakers, coincided with this. By the time we reached the 2000s, formal wear was confined to only certain industries, and outside the office could be seen mostly during special occasions like weddings. Though it's worth noting, not even traditional industries might be so strict on the suit much longer. In 2019, Goldman Sachs infamously relaxed their dress code to business casual. Some fashion experts have noted that the cultural implications of formal wear have been transferred to some areas of casual dress. Being able to work remotely and thus dress casually is more common in white-collar industries. One could argue there's a new flex of status with high-end athleisure brands like Lululemon or streetwear from luxury brands like Gucci. Changes in culture shape our changes in fashion, and we can trace those changes through our decline in formal wear. As these changes are happening around us, clothing manufacturers, of course, have to adapt quick to keep up. Fast fashion brands and factories can not only churn out new styles faster than ever with cheap synthetic materials, but Americans are buying and throwing out styles faster than ever. The world of personal tailoring and materials that are built to last seems to be shrinking. But for the masters of tailoring that keep the trade alive, that only makes the practice all the more valuable. National correspondent Meg Hilling tells us more about the enduring glamour of a bespoke suit.
Much like the suits he makes, Leonard Logsdale is a one-of-a-kind craftsman.
When I have the fabric on my board, I can see it in my mind's eye what it's going to look like on the client.
A bespoke tailor by trade, Logsdale has spent over 50 years creating custom clothes based on each customer's unique request and body measurements.
Bespoke tailoring comes from the word bespoken. Somebody walks in and talks an order. They say, I would like such and such a blue, and I go to the fabrics and show them the fabrics, and they talk their way through.
It's an art form considered the highest level of tailoring.
I make a suit particular for one person, and it only fits one person, and I fit it to that body.
And it requires meticulous attention to detail.
Somebody walks through the door, and I stand up the front here and watch them as they come from the elevator to me, so that I've got their body figurations, their stance, because as soon as you get the tape measure out, they remember everything their mother ever told them about standing up straight and holding their stomach, which is not how you make the suit. You've got to be the body that they are.
Logsdale's Manhattan shop in Midtown is tucked above the bustling streets on a quiet but busy floor with fabrics and finished suits on display. But his career began along Savile Row, the section of London famous for producing the best bespoke tailors.
I come from one of the poorest areas of London where, we were taught to be fodders for industry is the best way to describe it. Trash collectors, road sweepers, work in factories. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew everything that I didn't want to do. I had no idea, so I went to a tailoring school as a stopgap. And it's like I was home when I went there.
But learning the trade didn't come without hurdles.
I had about 7 or 8 suits that were thrown back at me. I'd paid for the cloth, I'd paid for the making, and then I had to give the deposit back, and it really hurt. And that's when I learned it's not my suit, it's your suit.
Logsdale says that lesson proved invaluable in helping him hone a skill that ultimately caught the attention of Hollywood.
And the phone went. I picked it up and there's a lady on the phone and said, "My name is Michelle and we're working on this movie called The Good Shepherd. And we wondered if you'd be interested in making a suit for Robert De Niro."
Since that call, Logsdale has gone on to tailor suits for dozens of movies, some of which have led to incredible encounters.
Tom Hanks, Hugh Jackman, that was the Oscars. Josh Brolin, Wall Street 2, Eddie Murphy. One of them was Wall Street 2 because I really enjoyed working with Michael Douglas. I thought he was a sweetheart. And the other one was Mary Poppins 2 because I get to make a suit for Dick Van Dyke. I mean, I've worked with DiCaprio, Denzel Washington, you name them, I've worked with them.
But despite how popular Logsdale's work is with clients in Hollywood, New York, and abroad, he says it's an art form with an uncertain future, a labor of love in desperate need of a new generation of tailors with the patience and fortitude to quite literally stitch on.
It's been a challenge to keep business going, and now it's been difficult to get workers because it's much easier to go and start earning money sitting at the computer than it is learning how to sew with a needle and thread.
Joining this fraternity of bespoke tailors would be a membership in a very small club.
I believe I'm the only person that does exactly what I do in New York, and I think there's only 4 or 5 in the whole of the United States now. It's a dying breed, so anybody that's looking, this needs to start coming around and seeing all these guys because they ain't going to be around for much longer.
Logsdale cites growing competition from companies making made-to-measure suits that cost less.
For a bespoke suit, pretty much all the fabrics I get out there is $8,900 for a 2-piece suit. But as I said, I've got some other ones will cost you $35,000, $40,000 for a bespoke suit.
And his cheaper competition can deliver their suits quicker.
When somebody comes in now, I'm telling them 2, probably 3 months at least before they'll see the suit. Because I have 1 pair of hands, like I'm sitting talking with you now, which means I'm not cutting my suits out. And so the tailors have got 1 pair of hands, they can only work on 1 suit at a time. So, it's finite, the amount of clothes we can make on any given week.
While a bespoke suit is steep in price and time commitment, Logsdale swears it's an investment customers can truly wear for decades to come.
It feels like nothing I've ever felt.
Good.
That's
good.
Just the way it's...
You realise you won't be able to wear anything else after this. Now, I say this all the time, that fashion goes out of style, but style does not go out of fashion. So, if you have something made here, and if you want to fashion forward, yeah, I'll do it, but when the fashion changes, that suit's old. But if you have something that's made with style, you can wear it, and it's relevant from 1993 up to here.
Meg Hilling, Newsy, New York.